Today's segment of Oh Brother is sponsored by FLS Energy, bringing solar energy to your home. Visit them on the web at flsenergy.com for more information.
All my brothers are so southern, they'll get up for you for nothing.
The week is winding down. It's Friday, and Will Lochamy, along with Reed Lochamy, coming to you from the Brandon Brown and the Country Western Delight Studio. So, brother, now Reed, on Fridays, we do a final countdown.
We do, Will. And before we start the final countdown, just want to remind everyone that a brand new thing here at Oh Brother is the YouTube channel. Will, you make these videos. They're very good. People can go to youtube.com/Oh Brother Radio. And also, people, don't forget, send us email at ohbrotherradio@gmail.com. Every Sunday, we respond to listener mail. So if you have an interesting comment or something you think we should use on the show, send us an email. And, of course, don't forget, Facebook fan page. We're getting so many fans, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
We're picking up like one every 4 days.
Yeah, I just want to thank all of you two for doing that.
Wow.
Or 3. It's now up to 3. Thank
people,
you.
don't
Thank
forget,
you
can, if you are already a fan on Facebook, you can go on the Oh Brother Radio Facebook fan page and suggest it to your friends. And next thing you know, we'll be at 472 fans.
Well, do you hear that?
Wait.
Do you hear that?
No,
There
I don't
it
hear
is.
anything yet because I'm going to cue it right now.
Oh, man. Trying to play like as a... Okay, never mind.
Oh, Will. You have no respect for the role of engineer that I have to play on this show.
You're right, I don't. Okay. So
Will, that
anyway-
music that now has been cued
Right.
and that we are all hearing means one thing and one thing only, which is what, Will?
It's time for the final countdown. Now, Reed, we've had some morbid final countdowns lately, and this one is no change.
I don't know how to explain that, Will, really. There's no rhyme or reason. But yeah, this one, I'm going to tell you, this one even... I'm going to go ahead and predict this is going to be our most uncomfortable. We've had some uncomfortable segments in the past. Like we did the one about breastfeeding last week. That was uncomfortable. One of our very first segments was about the men who live with their sex dolls. That was very uncomfortable.
Incredibly uncomfortable.
I'm going to go ahead and predict today's final countdown is going to make those look like something you would want to listen to with your grandmother.
Okay, Reed, it's the 5 worst torture techniques.
And before we start them, I want to mention real quickly, we got these from a Mental Floss article. If you don't subscribe to Mental Floss, you really should. It's the best magazine of all time. And this was an online piece that they did about a lot of different types of torture. I picked out my 5 favorite ones. So
I follow
there you
them
go.
on Twitter also, which is hours of entertainment.
Yeah, David K. Ismail is the one who put together this piece from Mental Floss. So, Will, what is number 5?
Okay, number 5, Reed. Chinese bamboo torture.
Yeah, now good news about Chinese bamboo torture. There's some speculation that perhaps it's mythical, that it has not ever actually been used. Now, it can be used, though, as proven
It can
by...
be done. Mythbusters.
Mythbusters. In case you don't know how this works, and I didn't know for sure how this worked, here's how it works. It says here, tips of living bamboo were cut sharp enough to create a spear, right? So you take bamboo, make them into spears. The victim is suspended horizontally above such a patch of bamboo, and it says here, the bamboo pierced through the victim's skin and continued to grow through his abdomen, ultimately causing one of the most painful deaths ever inflicted. And I thought when I heard this, I was like, man, that'd be terrible because you'd be up there for weeks.
No, like 3 days, right?
Apparently bamboo grows sometimes, it says here, as fast as, I don't see it right in front of me, but I think they said 3 feet in a day. Yeah, there it is.
Maybe that was it.
Some varieties in parts of China, some varieties of bamboo grow as much as 3 feet in a single day.
Look, you know this. If you've got bamboo in your yard, you know. It's just out of control. It's hard to keep. Now, it's great. It's strong wood,
Yeah.
and it'll kill somebody quickly.
Apparently. All right, Will, what is number 4?
Okay, number 4, Reed, is scaphism.
Scaphism.
I don't know what this is.
Until you hear this.
Tell me.
Here's how scaphism works. And this one's real. This one's been used. Here we go. It says here, a captive was stripped naked already.
Okay.
That's embarrassing.
Humiliating.
And chained to a pair of back-to-back narrow rowboats or hollowed-out tree trunks, like canoes or something like that, whatever.
Okay.
So you're made to be naked and tied to these boats. Then the captive was was then left to float on a stagnant pond.
Okay.
Okay, there's
Oh,
more.
is this a
There's
mosquito
more. There's
thing?
more. Then he was force-fed copious amounts of milk and honey. Now that actually sounds all right. You're like, hey, milk and honey.
I see
Remember
where
in the
this,
Bible?
I did guess where this is going.
Guess what milk and honey causes?
Mosquitoes.
Diarrhea.
Oh.
So then what happens is you're force-fed the milk and honey. The victim would then develop serious, not just diarrhea, but serious diarrhea, it says, which would then in turn attract insects. The insects would then feed on the victim's exposed flesh. Can you even imagine?
No.
That's
this reminds
naked,
me of Camp
yeah.
Cosby. Oh.
There's a ringing endorsement for Camp Cosby.
Just kidding.
I
love
knew
Camp Cosby.
scaphism sounded familiar.
Oh,
That's
man.
terrible. Naked, diarrhea, and mosquitoes?
I felt silly for signing up for that class.
Will, what is the next one?
The Brazen Bull.
Yeah, here's the thing with the brazen bull. It says here, victims were locked into a hollowed brass bowl. Now, already that sounds pretty awful because it wasn't real big. So if you are claustrophobic, that's already pretty terrifying. After that, a fire was lit underneath the bowl.
Oh, no.
The victim was roasted alive. The design of the bull's head was such that the victim's screams were made to sound like the bull roaring. This is just barbaric. And listen to this weird last part. It says here, the scorched remains were often made into bracelets and sold at the market.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say that made my stomach hurt a little bit just thinking about that.
Can you even imagine inside of a big metal bowl? People outside.
I can't imagine what
terrible.
number 2 and number 1 are.
Yeah,
Awful.
Let's find out. What's
All right,
number 2?
Let's see. Judas Cradle.
Judas Cradle. This is something you don't want to have happen to you.
I remember they had that hit song. What was it?
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
That was Judas Priest.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Will.
I was going to say
Judas
it was torture.
Judas Cradle. It says here, here's how it worked. The victim was placed on top of a pyramid-shaped seat. Anytime you hear that, that's not good. With their legs tied together, the chair's point was usually and very strategically, I would say, inserted into the
Got it. Don't even
orifice.
say it. Yep.
It then goes on to say that the victim then was slowly
No.
lowered. Slowly lowered
Okay,
via
quit.
ropes.
Number 1.
The torture may last for a few hours, maybe a few days.
Quit.
Can you imagine if they gave you the Judas Cradle and then force-fed you milk and honey? That'd be a problem. That'd be a problem.
Number 1, Reed.
Number 1. What is it?
Rat torture.
Okay. Most of the things we've heard about so far, I think have sounded bad.
Right.
But this might be the worst one.
I can't imagine.
That's why
Go
it's number
ahead.
1. Rat torture. Here's how it worked. A prisoner, right? I'd love to know what these people were doing to wind up in these sorts of situations.
Well, let's see. There could have been women,
Probably,
women that were showing their faces.
Oh, yeah. Or like advocating evolution
Sharia
or
law?
something like
Is
that.
that-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right, here we go. A prisoner was chained down naked onto a table. Once again, the nakedness. It's awkward. Then, large, heavy bowls with disease-infected rats were placed open side down on the prisoner.
Okay, gotcha. Where the rat is trapped, then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got a bowl on your chest with a rat.
Okay.
Disease-infested rat. Then, hot charcoal was piled on top of the bowls,
Yeah.
agitating the rats. What do you think rats think about that? They don't like it.
Oh, they
What
go
would that rat
crazy,
do?
Scratch and bite.
In an attempt to escape from the hot bowls, the rats would gnaw their way through the victim's flesh. Holy moly.
Gosh.
Wow.
And this was all stuff that the Bush administration did?
Will, let me tell you something. This is why it's good to have the ACLU.
Because I'm sure there's so much of this going on here, right?
I heard on Fox News that Obama's thinking about doing some of these things.
The rumors you